Logan's Run, 1976. Logan's Run. Terrific. I saw this with my dad when I was a kid, and I remember this. We used to watch a couple television shows together. Rockford Files, love it. Kung Fu, oh, terrific. But I distinctly remember watching Logan's Run with my dad. I remember him saying, "You should watch this." Oh, terrific, terrific. I miss the old guy. So, more futuristic, sci-fi, dystopian? I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a dystopian, but let's just say it is the 23rd century. 2274 to be precise. We got the Great Dome City. We've got man living only for pleasure. Gotta get my F on. We got the technocracy, technotronic, robots running everything, and basically everybody dies at 30. But there's this kind of pagan kind of ritual that they go through that they think, oh, maybe some reincarnation takes place. Doesn't sound half bad, really, to be honest. Okay, so here we got a shot of the Dome City, and as they zoom in, it kind of looks like those kind of like, like an eyeball of a fly or a microscope, right? And here is the Dome City, and it looks pretty cool. I gotta admit, they did some. They got a cool little set action going on here. The kind of the cars and tubes, subway car or something going through the tubes, and pretty cool actually. And so we got the babies with the jewelry. Ooh, that's a little bit weird. And we meet Logan 5. He is a Sandman, kind of like a cop, basically. His job is to go around and kill people. That's like not a bad job there. And he's checking out the babies. And we kind of get this impression that the AI technocracy, some kind of mechanism creates the babies. There's probably no families here in the future. And if you like, they're in charge of the reproduction. So Logan 5 and his buddy, Francis 7, both Sandmen. They're off to Carousel. But they have a little bit of a chit-chat. It looks like Logan 5, he's one of those guys that like to ask questions. Maybe questioning, what's going on here. And Francis is like, what are you, insane? What are you, crazy? So they basically kind of go through it. They kind of explain that this is kind of now the ritual. These people are 30 years old, and they have a chance basically to be reincarnated. Other than that, everybody knows that they're basically dead at 30. Now, I don't know if you can see the big sculptured hand with the ruby in the middle. Everybody's got their little color coordinated. You can see the kids running around in yellow. And like I said, basically the future looks like a giant mall. And I think this is perfect. I totally think the future will be a giant mall. Basically, well, we're getting there anyway. Basically a crummy mall with like crummy escalators, and basically you'll never leave. Basically you'll never go outside. The kind of the company store. You'll basically like either work at home, your job will be in the mall, your house will be in the mall, the grocery store will be in the mall. I think this is perfect. Even when I was a kid, I said this is exactly what the future is going to look like. Here is the carousel, Roman Empire looking. There's the Sandmen, and ooh, check out that fox there, right beside Logan, and they're basically looking at these other chicks, and then they were nothing to, they weren't even worth taking a screen grab for. I'm just like, Logan, look right beside you. Come on, give me a break. She is amazing. Okay, so all the losers who are 30 years old, right? They all get in there, and not a lot of them either, but in their little white kind of robes and hoodies, right? And then they show the close-up, and you're just like, whoa, what the hell with the crazy goalie mask? Oh, and one more shot. I'm like, Logan, check her out. Start talking to her for crying out loud. Oh, she's gorgeous. Like, come on. That's why she's in the shot. So all these loser 30-year-olds kind of show their blinking ruby hand. It looks like like a Swedish berry right in their hand there, and it's flashing. And they pull off their little robes, and they got the cool like slick bodysuit on there with the fire. Oh, pretty good. There's this crazy, some kind of, always a crystal, right? Always this sort of insane crystal shooting down some kind of weird beam that basically makes all these people float up in the air. And this just gets the crowd going. They're like, yeah, yeah, look at those guys. And as they're floating by, you can see the wires. Oh, I love it. The whole crowd, they're just totally into it. They're like, yeah, yeah, renew. They start chanting, renew, renew. And there's that diamond crystal thing that's, all shiny. And then it just starts blowing people up. Just blowing up good, sets them on fire. And people are just getting so excited. Again, kind of like, like the gladiators or something, watching people get burnt. It's like kind of basically like a human, like kind of bug zapper. That's what it's like. They all just basically just explode. Oh, and Logan's into it. He's like, yeah, yeah, renew. Oh, but then he's got a phone call, or maybe it's just a text. And looks like, oh, he's got to do some work right in the middle of carousel. Oh, how rude. And yeah, he's got to go chase down some dirty old 30-year-old jerk who doesn't want to go on the carousel. And so he's got to leave. And Francis joins him. And Logan's got one of those little trackers, the little monitors, so he basically knows where he is. This guy's like doomed. And there he is. He starts shooting. But there's, for some reason, it's kind of weird here. There's a lot of gunshots fired, but they just miss. So they're kind of like toying with this guy because they know basically they got nowhere to go. Everyone's got that microchipped Swedish berry in their hand, the mark of the beast. So there's no escape. But he's still running around, so they're enjoying it, kind of chasing him around, and they finally, keep shooting like over his head and just like, ha, how do you like that, runner? And finally, like he goes over the edge and boom, crashes on the floor. So I guess to keep everything, by the book, right? I guess he's got to file his reports and stuff. So he's got the little, face recognition monitor, and he's like, wait a minute, that's not the same guy. What's going on? Oh, but then he finds out, oh, it's the old plastic surgery. Ooh, thank God we got the plastic surgery in the future. You can try to hide your identity, but I guess if there's a microchip, what is the point? And then it's time for the cleanup, and a couple of these dudes with these kind of like hovercrafty things. Very cool, very cool. Just basically dust them with, I don't know, some kind of like insect spray or something like that. But oh, this stuff just basically just dissolves the body in seconds. So Logan is chillaxing in his apartment, having a little red wine maybe, and he's got the crazy black looking kind of toga thing. Pretty cool. I'll give him that. It is kind of cool. And a little bit like that background, a little kind of a Japanese kind of feel to it. And I think Logan, now I could see this is not dystopia, this is utopia. This is, he's got this little circuit gadget here in his apartment, and you basically just dial up a sex partner. Amazing. So he turns it on, and then boom, there's like some dude in his place. And this sodomite here gives Logan the look, and Logan just shakes his head like, oh, no thank you. Hashtag no homo. Now, I'm sorry, Logan here, but you got maybe this thing set on random shuffle or something. But I mean, maybe you got to revise that search. You know what I'm saying? So he, like I said, he just shakes his head. He tries one more time, and then boom, we got Jessica here, and now he's like, yeah, that's more like it, coochie. Okay, so he grabs her hand and he gives her a little kiss and he leads her to the couch. And now look at that outfit she's wearing. Oh, good Lord. And Jessica, she's a nice looking lady. Basically nude. And right away he just like starts jumping her, like starts making out with her. And she goes, no. And he's like, what? What do you mean no? Again, she says no. And this Jessica, she's a nice looking lady. Now this is a British actress, Jenny Augeter. I'm not sure if that's how you say her name. The only other movie I've seen her in was An American Werewolf in London, which is another terrific movie. But yeah, she's got a good look. I like this look. Very baby doll. And so Logan is just confused. Like he's basically, come on. He's just leading her to the bedroom and she goes, no. And so Logan's like, he's like had enough. He's just like, well, why did you put yourself on the circuit? Right. And so she mentions that she was sad and she just felt like she had to do something. And I like that little choker thing she's got there. Ooh, yikes, nice. But she explains to Logan that her friend went on carousel, and so she lost her friend. And she says, "Yeah, he was killed like the rest of them." And Logan's all confused. He's just like, "Killed? Why? Why would you use that word?" And so she just turns it on him and says, "Well, isn't that what you do?" And Logan's all defensive. He's like, "I've never killed anyone in my life. I terminate runners." And so they kind of like chit chat back and forth. And, like, so, she just wants to have a little conversation. And Logan's like, oh, okay. He's not used to it. Usually he's on third base at this point. But, so she asks Logan, I just have a question. Is it wrong to run? And Logan's like, what do you like? Well, you're crazy. I mean, no, you got a good chance as anyone to go on carousel and be renewed. So basically, we get this idea of questioning this idea of do you just die or are you renewed? Logan just assumes you get renewed, and he pulls out his gun and he shows her like basically, are you one of those misfits? When you turn 31 that you're gonna run. He goes, that's where I come in. And she's like, no, she's like a 6, so she's probably like 25 years old, and so like kind of a little friendship is kind of blossoming here. And just then Francis comes in and he's got a couple of chicks on his arms and he's just like, hey, let's a party. And this is where basically Jessica kind of runs out and Logan kind of looks back and he's just like, whatever, I got chicks here and we got little pink clouds, let's get it on. So I got a little outdoor shot there, just people just walking around. And there's Logan and Francis, and they see another Sandman coming down the steps, but he's like covered in blood. He's got slashes all over his face. And he's talking about, this runner, he ran into these cubs, whatever a cub is. And got in a little bit of a fight there. Cut him up pretty good. And so I guess there are hazards to being a Sandman. So he says he's off to New You, I guess to get those scars healed. And so Francis and Logan, and it looked like they're heading on to like the headquarters, the big police headquarters, where they're basically monitoring all the action in the Dome City. So it looks like just regular Sandman procedure where you drop off the possessions of the runners you've killed. And so he throws down the stuff he found on the runner from the night before, and there's that little symbol, the Ankh, right? That Jessica had, and something's a little fishy. Like normally they just kind of disintegrate, but nothing happens, and Logan's kind of like shaking his head, like, what's going on here? And then we got like basically the computer voice is actually a chick's voice, and she says to Logan 5, approach and identify. And this is where the computer she voice, she starts explaining the Ankh is the symbol for sanctuary. Now this is some kind of code word for before the apocalypse, perhaps some kind of safe place. And Logan has been chosen as like a spy. He's on the mission. He has to go outside the dome. He has to locate and destroy sanctuary. So Logan says in this kind of like really deep, sexy, like Barry White voice, what you talking about, computer? No, not really. I'm just kidding around. But he is definitely stressed out and confused. And then he learns from the she voice computer that there are over 1,000 missing runners. And in his mind, he is thinking, how is this even possible? Perhaps they were renewed? But what the computer is really trying to tell Logan is that there's no such thing. Nobody gets renewed. Logan's world is like completely crashing, right before his eyes, right? Now, this happens to just a handful of people in the real world. And it's called enlightenment, when you basically, kind of when the shadows kind of stop, kind of confusing you and you see the reality. I think this is why I like science fiction so much, because it really kind of just basically is showing you like kind of what's behind the curtain. And so to begin this mission, basically, Logan has to basically start blinking. His little Swedish berry in his hand has to start blinking, which means it's like last day. He's basically, it's time for a carousel, and he has to become a runner. And he's totally freaking out. He's got this kind of, again, like the crystal thing does this like weird energy red beam. I don't know if this is kind of supposed to like artificially age him. He doesn't really like look any different, but after the process, right? He just looks at his hand, and again the little ruby starts flashing, and he's just like, I'm gonna get my like 4 years back, aren't I? Like he's all like confused, like, oh my god, this is like the worst day ever. So computer voice says, "Okay, Logan, now take that onk. That's your clue, and go find out where Sanctuary is. Get somehow. Basically, it's up to you. You got to get out of the Dome City and figure out where Sanctuary is." Logan heads on over to the spa for a quality soak. No, he's got no time. He's got to run. Francis is like, come on, get in. But then Logan's like, no, he's all business. He's serious. He's like, Francis, have you ever seen anyone renew? And he's like, what are you talking about, Logan? You're crazy. Of course. Whatever. Get in the water, you goof. But Francis, he's not the kind of guy you can have a serious talk to. So Logan just leaves. And then Logan manages to get Jessica taken to his place, and she says, like, so what do you want? What do you want from me? And he's trying to kind of do a little bit of the sweet talking. Oh, I couldn't stop thinking about you. And she's being all sarcastic. Oh, yes, I'm the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. So she's just like, you can have any woman you want. What do you really want, Logan? So this is where he pulls out the Ankh, and he starts talking about Sanctuary, right? So we're getting to this kind of, again, this idea, I would call it like the Jesus fish, right? Kind of like this underground kind of thing. And he's like, can you help me? Can you introduce me to your friends? And Jessica's just like, oh my God, I've never heard of a Sandman run. But he shows her the blinking berry. And so she's like, well, I got to think about it. Okay, so another outside shot. Like I tell you, this is a cool place here. And so basically, you got Logan. He's creeping on Jessica. He's kind of following her, checking out her friends. He's doing the spy thing. And the Jesus fish people, or the Ankh people, right? I guess they're like kind of the underground club. So they're like, okay, Jessica, will you do it? We gotta kill this Sandman. Basically, they're already plotting this Sandman. He knows about Sanctuary, and so this is not good. Will you do it, Jessica? She goes, yeah. And so basically, she calls back on Logan and says, I want to talk to you. And he's like, are you gonna help me out? And she's kind of like, yeah. So Jessica says, "Come with me to Arcade," and you can see there's one of the Ankh guys, right? He's like, "Okay," right? He's basically he removes the chain necklace. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna strangle this dirty, rotten Sandman." But then suddenly Jessica, it looks like she's having a change of heart. She's just like, "No, I really gotta talk to you." But then Logan's little like his pager thing goes off, and suddenly he's got a runner. He's got to go and terminate, and he's just like, "Oh, come!" He's like, "Come with me, Jessica." And then like basically the two sanctuary dudes are gonna like basically strangle him and kill him. They're like, "What? What the hell? What happened to the plan?" So Logan and Jessica go to one of those tube cars, but Logan tells Jessica, you better go home, because he's headed to the cathedral area. It's kind of like a reservation for all like the juvenile delinquents. Very dangerous, and this is where that other Sandman, he got cut up, so there are cubs there. So we're going to meet the cubs. And Jessica says, I'd rather be with you. So she goes along with Logan. Now, meanwhile, on the big board at cop headquarters, Sandman headquarters, we've got Francis, and he's like, ooh, he's going to the cathedral. Could be trouble. I better go help him out. Meanwhile, the Ankh assassins are right behind them in their own little tube car. And again, we have more shots of the outside, and we get this really groovy music playing. It's basically, all instrumental. Bloop, bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep, 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 bloop, bloop. Pretty cool. And so basically, Logan is kind of talking to Jessica about Cathedral and the Cubs, and she's like, is it really dangerous? And he's like, you've never been there? And she's like, of course not. So Logan is like, obviously he's got a lot on his mind, so he's not being very cool. He's kind of, giving like a little bit of business to Jessica. He's being a little evasive and says, "Well, you'll find out," right? It's a little bit weird, but I like that. You got to treat women like shit. That's what I always say. Now they start talking about these cubs. Now, why are these cubs, so kind of violent? So they kind of talk about this kind of inbreeding, and then Jessica mentions, she goes, "I wish I'd known my mother." And Logan's like, "Well, we're all like inbreed." So they don't really explain it. You just kind of go, okay, they're somehow aware of like, somehow there is the mother thing going on. It's a little bit confusing, but I guess they had to condense it all. So the screenplay doesn't really explain it too well. But Logan is just like, where do you get these crazy ideas? Like, wish you'd known your mother. Like, this is beyond like, anything rational or logical, right? So again, I think we're really getting this split between, like I said, the people who believe and the doubters. They ain't buying it. And again, want to just a little detour here, or just make a note. Jessica, who I really think is like, yeah, she's a nice looking lady, and she's got that pug nose, right? That kind of Mickey Mo from Mickey Mo Jeter from Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Now, if you don't understand why I keep mentioning Mary Hartman, if you're new to these videos, you got to check out the whole thing. It's like it's only 325 episodes. It's only about 30 hours long, and I would suggest you watch it all, or you can just watch all the best ofs, which is another great thing. But yes, that little pug nose, like it's very upturned. I'm going to get a good shot of her profile, because you'll see, you're like, whoa, but it works. It does. There's something about that upturned nose. Not everybody can pull this off, but it's good. It's good. It's a lot of nostril, but it's still, I don't know, something sexy about it. And so they wind up at Cathedral, and it's basically the slums, right? And and just another gorgeous shot of the basically the dome world out the window, like nice view. So they go, and it's all locked up actually, so they need authorization to get in there. So Logan's got the communicator, open the door. So they go into the cathedral, and he's like, be careful, be careful. And there's Mary, and Mary's just like, hello, she's like another one of those dirty looking kids. God, needs their face washed. But what do you expect? No parents. So, basically Jessica's all like kind of charmed by the kid, and like, oh, you're pretty. And she kind of sort of playing and talking with with Mary. And then she like basically swipes her bracelet. And right away Jessica's like, oh, you son of a, like she's all angry. She's about to go after her, and Logan has to grab her, like, hey, don't worry. Oh, she wants to give her a spanking. She says, oh, could be a decoy, could be a trap. And so suddenly out of nowhere, all the cubs just show up, right? They all just kind of jump out of the woodwork, and this is Billy. He's like the main cub, and basically Logan's kind of humoring these guys, right? I guess he doesn't. Again, technically, yeah, I guess he doesn't want to kill them. And then finally he's like, okay, I've had enough, you dirtbags. I don't care how old you are. And he kind of pulls out his gun and he starts like firing, like, yeah, you want some? You want some? Right, so they all retreat and they all freak out and they're like, oh. Billy's still there. He was like, no, I'll cut you up. And basically kind of does the old scenario. How old are you, Billy? You can't stay here when you're past 15. And Billy's like shaking his head like, and he runs too. And so Logan goes back to his kind of tracker device, and he's like, oh, do. She's right there. He's like, runner, in a nice soft voice, and she kind of peeks out from behind the wreckage, and Logan is like, give me that rye, old bag. Well, he doesn't really actually ask for a rye bread. This is obviously that's Seinfeld reference. The marble rye, right? Schnitzers. But she is a runner, right? So she is blinking. She's like gonna be turning 31. So technically, I am right. She is an old bag. So this runner tries to explain, oh, there's got to be something wrong with my life clock. She's pleading for her life. I'm only 22. And I'm just like, nice try, lady. But Logan's like, no, don't worry. I'm not going to kill you, right? And he shows, and as she's freaking out, he grabs her hands, right? And he shows her his little blinkenberry, little handberry. Uh-oh, but in the distance, there's Francis, right behind. Again, Logan asks this old bag, if she recognizes the Ankh, right? And she's going, "I've never seen it." And he's like, "Oh, I thought, she would have been like a clue, got some information." So he gives her like a little device. He said, "If you get in trouble here, throw this little kind of flash grenade and don't breathe. This will help you escape, right? If more trouble comes your way." And so Jessica and Logan move off. It's time to go back. Logan's got a plan. But like I said, Francis was kind of lurking just right behind there, and he kind of crawls up there and he like pokes his gun through the hole, and boom, he fires on the old bag, and she gets zapped. She's done. Now Logan and Jessica kind of hear the little yelp, the little scream, but they don't really think too much of it. And this is where Jessica tells Logan, "Logan, I have to confess, I was taking you to be killed." And Logan's like, "What the?" And she says, "But now I realize, that you let that runner go, so you're kind of like you're on our side now." And so Logan wants like, "Well, can your friends help me?" And she goes, "No, no, they don't trust you. They'll kill you." So as they're leaving the cathedral, right? There's Mary again, and just look how pathetic she looks. Oh, it's great. I've heard about this, like you get the run in the stockings or whatever. She's got like big holes in the knees. Ah, hilarious, just great stuff. And so Jessica, sees little Mary. Oh, so pathetic. But she's like, "Hey, give me back my bracelet, you goddamn little beggar, you!" And so Mary coughs up the bracelet. So she's got her bracelet back. Good. So Logan says now the plan is we head back to the arcade, and he's going to get a new look. Get a little plastic surgery on his face. Maybe that'll buy him some time. And again, that last runner, maybe, like I said, maybe there's somebody who would help me out, because Jessica mentions like no one sees like a blinking hand. They're going to give you a new face, right? So, but this is a seriously a good idea from Logan. And of course, we've got the Ankh assassins. They've been watching the whole thing. And so we got a little bit of a new you action, the old plastic surgery. Hey, what a new face? I mean, it seems like everybody's just screwing each other, so I don't think it matters, right? But why not be better looking? Who knows? And oh, look again, very futuristic, very cool. So Logan and Jessica show up at a new you. Well, it's Farrah Fawcett. Okay, so let's just quickly talk again about like some sci-fi action. Okay, everybody knows Farrah Fawcett. Terrible, terrible acting from Farrah Fawcett, right? But she was in another sci-fi film, which was Saturn III. And I would even go watch like even the deleted scenes from Saturn III. Hilarious. And Farrah Fawcett, let me say, in lingerie, little stockings, a little like a garter on there. Oh, and Harvey Keitel's in that one, and Kirk Douglas. It's a little slow, but it's good. It's worth it. Check it out. Saturn III. I think it's from 1980. And I had older sisters. I used to watch Charlie's Angels, right? Just when I was like a little feller back in the day. I was just a little feller, and but I remember the older sisters, right? They had the magazines or whatever, the Charlie's Angels crap, and I just remember like Cheryl Ladd. Oh my God. Oh my God. Cheryl Ladd. And so while we're talking about all these other kind of sci-fi movies, I'll just mention Michael York, right? Everybody knows this actor, right? He was also in The Island of Dr. Moreau, more sci-fi. I don't think I'm going to talk about this movie, but it's terrific too. Again, a little bit slow, but they're just these sci-fi movies. They're great. Even like, you gotta, yeah, sure, just sit through them, and it's worth it. There's always a good like message. So the doc will see you now, Logan, which is just perfect, right? The guy just walks in. Okay, just give me a new face. I don't care. This is the man thing, right? We've got the chicks. Oh, and I like that blue eyeshadow. Oh my God, that's amazing. But they're picking their eyebrows, they're picking the eyes, the nose, the lips, everything. Logan just walks in. Just give me a new face. I don't care. Oh, that's like women don't understand this. This is the male mind. If a woman can understand this, and I know women like pretty things. Okay, now I'm getting off topic. Okay, back to the show. So Logan meets the doc, and I'll be honest, he's a little bit friendly, and he's got the shifty eyes, kind of a little bit beady, and he's right away. Oh wow, this machine is fantastic, and he shows him the machine, and it's just all automatic, it's all perfect. Oh, it's just like, oh, it's a charm. I don't have to do anything, basically. And so Logan basically, Holly, which is Farrah Fawcett's character, she's like, Holly, see to Logan on the table. And so the doc now has a chance to talk to Jessica alone. And he's like, why did you bring him here? I'm like, are you insane? He's a Sandman. And Jessica's trying to, very in a low voice, no, he's a runner. He's a runner. I know he's a Sandman, but no, we have to trust him. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll give him a new face. But why did he have to come here? So clearly, the doc is part of the underground. He's kind of being cool. He's just nervous, right? And Holly is just like, get brown hair. And like I said, again, Logan, he just doesn't care. He's just like, just give me a new face. I don't care what I look like. That's true. Men just do not care about this kind of stuff. Wait a minute. Let me say most men. 97, 98%. Okay? So boom, the lasers, I guess, go to work, and the instant anesthetic or whatever, anesthesia, comes in. So like apparently no pain, and so there. Let's just tighten those cheekbones. What do you say? But then Doc gets a call, and this is from the underground, the Ankh underground. They're like, no, kill that Sandman. We can't trust him. He's on to us. And so right away, basically, the Doc kind of explains, oh, by the way, I'm going to kill you in a very subtle way. And boom, he starts turning the machine on Logan, and he's just started zapping Logan, and like Farrah's freaking out, and Jessica's freaking out, and the machine just starts going crazy and just starts shooting lasers everywhere, and Logan's like freaking out. But Logan, he manages to get off the table, avoiding those lasers, right? So it's all kind of, hell is breaking loose, and the chicks fall down, and Doc comes in. He kind of shoots the gun out of Logan's hand, and he comes in there with like a rolling pin, and he's gonna like bash Logan on the head. I gotta say, this Doc is pretty brave with these like lasers flying everywhere. Oh, but Logan overpowers him and throws him on the table, and the laser starts chopping up the Doc, right? And ooh, that's ugly. I gotta admit, I love this scene. I just thought this was the craziest, most exciting scene as a kid, and I still do. I still love it. And so Logan and Jessica like let's get the hell out of here. But oh no, there's Francis. He's been following him the whole time, and he's got like that dirty look on his face. He's like, "What's wrong with you, Logan? The hell are you doing? I saw you in the cathedral. I saw you let runner go. What's going through your head?" And all I wanted, Logan, was you to sit in the hot tub with me. There, nothing gay about that at all. Nothing gay. No, just sit in the hot tub with me. That's all I wanted, Logan. That's all I ever wanted. # no homo. So Logan just bops him on the head, and he runs away from Jessica, and he's like, well, what do we do? And Jessica, like, she knows. She's been holding back. She knows something. She goes, follow me. We have to go through the love shop. So one more shot of Doc all chopped up. That's what you get when you go to New You. And Farrah's just like all upset. She's like, oh, what about my overtime? And Francis, he's just like, where'd they go? No one knows. So in the love shop, it's all slow motion, and right away, all the naked people start grabbing Logan and Jessica, and there's like the boys just pick up Jessica and start carting her away, but they manage to escape, and they're pointing the back exit. But for some reason, Francis, he's like, I want to get my you-know-what. And so he goes into the love shop. Oh, good idea there. But Logan and Jessica kind of escape through the back way. So they kind of find the back door, and basically there's this staircase, and they got to go way, way down this staircase. So Jessica, she is informed about this whole kind of underground, and she goes, we just got to wait for the signal here. This is kind of one of the last kind of, kind of points where the resistance kind of hangs out. And Logan does something curious here. He turns on kind of his monitor little thing here, and suddenly, he's on the radar, right? All the cops are like, "Oh, we've got a runner. We've got Sandman runner in section quadrant, whatever." And so, boom! Like, let's send the reinforcements there. And so the voice says, we'll let you pass through, Logan, but, put your hands over your head and, like, show us the palms. Let's see that blinking berry. And so they go through the little gate there, and the light is shining on them, and all the kind of weird lightning rod spears are pointed at their face, and they shoot these little gases, and ouch! and they're like, "You're a runner. Let's kill him." And Jessica's like, "No, no, no, let him go. Like, come on, we gotta help him. That's what we're all about. Or we'll be just like them if we kill him." And they give Jessica a little blast in the face too, like stink bomb or something. And then Holly Farah, she crawls through the little gate, right? And she's just like, "Oh, that's him. That's the bad runner." And she's all delirious. She's delusional. He killed Doc. He killed Doc. And she's like crying. And all the mascara's running. And but then Jessica says, "No, no, come on, Holly. You remember? It was like the other Sandman. The other Sandman. This one was running. The other Sandman." And then, oh, so like I said, the worst acting. This is probably the low point of the whole movie, is Farrah Fawcett's acting. Oh, she's just terrible. Good looking lady, but oh boy, kind of brings it down. Ooh, it's memorable how terrible she is in this. Like this, she only gets a couple lines in this whole movie, but then she goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, that's right. There was the other runner. Yeah, yeah." And so they all like lower their spears. Okay, we can trust Farah, Holly, and but then there's all this noise, and like as they give instructions to Logan, go down the pipe, wait for the voice. This is the last checkpoint. You're on your own, and Logan's like, "Holly, you hang back." But then there's a big explosion, and yes, of course, all the Sandmen come in shooting, just basically killing everybody, and oh, they kill the good-looking Farah, but oh, sorry, no more lines for you, Farah. Oh, ouch, ouch. So this wasn't so bad to see this. So Jessica and Logan manage to escape, but Logan actually kills another Sandman, and Francis is there behind kind of like a cage, and he says, "Stop! Stop, Logan, what are you doing? All I really wanted was just a little bit of company in the hot tub. What's wrong with that?" And but then Logan shoots at him, but misses. But again, they manage to escape. So they reach the final gate, and a voice comes over, and he says, "Show me your key, runner." And okay, so they're fumbling with the little choker. Jessica's got, and he's like, "Give me that woman! Come on!" She won't let it go. And goddamn woman, what are you doing? And they drop the key, and they can't find it in the water at their feet. But Logan says, "Okay, I got the other key," and he uses the key, and the gate opens. And look, there's Francis right behind them, like right on their asses. He's like, "Just wanna have a hot tub with you. That's all." And the door closes just in time. So they're making their way, Jessica and Logan, through kind of the bowels of kind of like underneath the city, kind of like, kind of like the boiler room, the engine, if you want, of the Dome City. And Francis is about ready to give up. He can't seem to figure out how to get through the door. But in the water, in the puddle of water, he can see the key. He picks it up, and the voice comes back and says, "Runner, this is your last gate. Use your key." So Francis, lucky guy, he manages to get through the gate, and he's he's in hot pursuit of Logan and Jessica, and he catches up with them, and he uses a little fire gun there, and he shoots at them, and boom, blows a big hole, and all the water comes gushing out on Logan and Jessica, and geez, they're getting like swept away here. They're gonna get drowned. But they manage to make it to this like kind of little escape hatch, this little door, and they just like the water just pours them through. But they manage to make it to safety. And you can see Logan is basically like, oh, he's dying, right? Oh, that was a close one. And he leans on this kind of lever, and boom, it's an elevator, and it starts going up, and he's like, "I can't stop this thing," and it's going up, up, and they end up, basically in this kind of snowy, frozen place, and they're like, "What the?" Now, Jessica and Logan are making their way through this, like, refrigerator, icicle kind of world, and it's very cool. Again, just great sets, cool sets, and basically, Jessica says, "Oh, there's like some furs. Let's put those on. Let's warm up. Freezing in here." And I wanted to get that shot of that ice sculpture there, that walrus. Gorgeous. Okay, so they got their nice little mink coats on, and they're like, "What the hell? What is this place?" Then in comes this crazy robot. He's gigantic. Oh, he's just like the perfect looking robot. His name is Box. Oh, and he is just terrific. I love this Box. Boxes like talking about plankton and sea greens from the sea. And so basically they're all like, what's going on? Is this Sanctuary? Is this the link to Sanctuary? And Box is very coy. He's like, what are you saying? What do you mean plankton from the sea? And they're like, come on, out with it, Box. What's going on? You got to help us. And he's like, okay, I'll show you what's really going on. And then he basically kind of just shows them all these people like frozen in storage. And they're like, what the hell is this? He goes, and this is where it gets a little confusing. So bear with me here. I'll try to sum this up very quickly, right? As Jessica and Logan are going like, what? All these apparently all these runners, right, are frozen in storage. So Box explains that he would harvest the plankton. He goes like proteins from the sea, but then they stopped coming for some reason. Whether he they overfished the oceans or something. Little vague. He says they stopped coming and then these people came. So again, we're getting this idea of like, what? Are we talking about cannibalism here? What is going on? Are people like eating the runners? So basically they just realized, wait, Box, he's part of the whole kind of dome system. The whole thing is a fake. It's a trap. It's like, yeah, we got a little Soylent Green going on here, if you know what I mean. But this technotronic dome city, wouldn't they just have greenhouses, like growing food? Got to eat people. So now we're starting to realize there's this kind of satanic feel going on here, with the whole mark of the beast, perhaps cannibalism, human sacrifices, if you want to look at it in that way. It's really dark stuff, but, it's pretty close to reality. So Box pulls out these crazy guns. It's like, you're next. This is my job. I gotta freeze you. Holy crap, get the hell out of here. And Box is chuckling, too. He's laughing. And he's, basically going after them. He knows, they got nowhere to go. But they didn't realize this is, the first Sandman who's ever come here. And he's still got the gun. And, he shoots Box, and Box is like, ouch, And then he's wrestling with Box, and the gunfire going all over the place. And the graphics are a little bit crappy at this point, but that's okay, because sometimes they're just fantastic. And basically the whole place, the whole ice thing just comes crashing down. And again, so destroying Box, they manage to escape Jessica and Logan, and they make their way out of the frozen cave, right? And they're just like, oh, okay, wait a minute, here, finally, it's not so cold. And they look and they go, what the hell? They see the sun. So they've made it. They're outside the dome city. So here's a nice shot of them from behind. So Jessica and Logan make their way into the world as they're just stumbling across, the mountains and the trees and the dirt roads. Oh, but again, in pursuit is Francis Seven. Oh, he just won't give up. Relentless. So he's making his way through the Box Ice Kingdom. And I just have to mention, now that they've left basically the dome city, this is the only part, and I'm not really dissing the movie, because the first time you see it, it's intriguing, but this part is a little bit slow. Just warning you, basically now we have kind of the Odyssey, basically the traveling, and okay, I guess it's taking days, and, Jessica's a little bit nervous about some of the animals they're coming across, and, it's just they don't know, where's Sanctuary, but then they do find some water. This is pretty good. They go for a little skinny dip, and their little Swedish berry becomes kind of one of those transparent berries. And they're like, oh, I guess maybe it doesn't. The life clock doesn't have any effect out here. And finally, Jessica gives it up. She's like, yes, Logan, yes. Oh, they're gonna do it. So again, more walking, and then we get this obelisk in the background. So they're just walking towards it, and this looks like some kind of Washington D.C. building, right? And they go inside, and and there's the Lincoln, and I've from some of my other videos, I don't like Lincoln at all. I can't stand that guy, and I actually hate this sculpture. This is nauseating. Again, I don't even know how big he is. What is he, 80 feet high? Oh, this is just atrocious. I just think this is, and I don't care any person. I don't mind so much Mount Rushmore, but this Lincoln statue, oh my God, give me a break. Not for this piece of crap. Like I said, more walking, and they see, I guess, the Capitol building, so they're heading towards the Capitol building, and they come across a graveyard, and they're kind of what's confused by it, what does it all mean? And so they make it to the Capitol building, but they hear some noises, and then we meet the old man, and that's his name, the old man. And at first, Jessica and Logan are scared of him, but then they just start talking, and like I said, it's a little bit dry. It's I guess a little bit of comic relief there. He kind of explains to them he had parents, a mother and a father, and they're dead, and this is what it's like to be old. And Jessica's still in her mind. She's like, but what about Sanctuary? Where's Sanctuary? And it seems like Logan now is the practical one, like realizing there is no Sanctuary. Like, this is it. This is like just was an idea that, they probably like, again, a way to kind of brainwash people. So Jessica has like a little bit of a cry. She's kind of like, it's a tough pill, right? Like, it's basically the red pill, right? Tough pill to swallow, but she's dealing with it. And then out of the blue, there's Francis, and he grabs her and he like pulls her off to the side, and he's all bitter. You took him away. I just wanted a hot tub, and you knew that. So Francis is like, yo, Logan, I got your girl. Ooh, and he's just got like a death look on his face. Oh, he's angry, right? And but Logan says, Francis, look at your hand, look at your hand. And Francis looks at his hand, and his little crystal has gone clear. And again, like, it's just like, oh, he's been red pilled and he can't take it. So the fight breaks out, and basically it's a pretty even fight, but Logan gets the upper hand and starts chopping his, swings this like flagstaff, just knocks him over, and he crushes his skull, and he's bleeding all over. And Francis, he's got a famous last lines, terrific, and it has nothing to do with the hot tub, but he's saying, you understand, there's nothing gay, just about, like a little pleasant conversation in the hot tub, right? Maybe we'll talk about chicks, whatever. But the final line from Francis is great, right? He looks at his hand and, can't kind of accept, as they say, the red pill. And he says, Logan, you renewed. And he dies. So again, very poetic, very high-minded stuff. And it continues. Later on, Logan is basically saying to Jessica, we've got to go back. I've got to go back and tell people, right? So now we're getting into this concept of, the allegory of the cave, Plato's cave. Now, if you're not familiar with the Republic by Plato, well, it's terrific, and it's a good thing I came along here to entertain and enlighten you. Well, of course, the idea is that you turn away from the shadows, you leave the cave, you see the light, and so your world, like I said, it's basically red pilling, and you want to go back and you want to share this new information that, like, there's deception. There's deception in the real world. Most people they can't accept it, right? And so we see this throughout literature, throughout Hollywood films, and especially in sci-fi. This is what sci-fi mostly is really trying to imply, like, wake up sheeple. And so they're, the old man's all pissed. He's like, hey, I thought you were going to bury me when I died. And Jessica doesn't want to go back. She realizes, I think maybe she's familiar with the allegory of the cave. She goes, they won't listen to you. Let's just stay here, and be free. But Logan can't live with himself. No, I have to tell the peoples. And so they said, well, why don't you come with us? And the old man's like, is it far? They're like, well, yeah. He's like, oh, okay, that's okay. He's got a walking stick. So, kind of like the Smurfs, right? More walking. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Not much further. So the gang is just walking and walking and walking. And finally we see something in the distance. And we actually learn a few things that Box was telling the truth, that the fish did in fact all die. And this whole concept of, like, one man, one woman staying together, having a family and kids. Logan and Jessica are like, hey, this is kind of a cool idea. They like it. They're into it. But as you can see, they're getting closer and closer to the Dome City, and I really do enjoy this graphic, this shot, whatever. It's cool. It's cool. And as they get closer, they figure, okay, maybe this is the way we're gonna get into the city, somehow through this water system going on here. So they tell the old man, you wait. We'll go in and we'll try to bring the people to you. Just wait out as long as you can. So we got some underwater action going on there, kind of James Bond removing the screens, and they make it. They finally, they can hold their breath. First time, good stuff. So it looks like they're back in the city. And life in the Dome City just goes on as usual. People all show up for a carousel, and it's last day, so all the old bags and old men, with their flashing berries, they're there in their goalie masks, hoping, praying. Oh, maybe this reincarnation. Otherwise, I'm gonna get exploded. And Logan, he's kind of got a lot of passion here. One could say maybe a little overacting, but he's into it, right? He wants to enlighten the people. He's like, "No, you don't have to go," just screaming to the masses. And they kind of turn around like, "Who's this lunatic Sandman?" And he says, you can live." And he kind of shows his hand, right? "You can grow old. You don't have to die." It's pretty good. I gotta admit, I enjoy this, right? It seems like he's like kind of over the top, right? And the crowd kind of just like to shake their head and they're like, screw that. I'm gonna watch people get bug zapped, right? And then Jessica says, no, listen to him. We've been outside. And then the Sandman just quickly arrests them and is like, "Quiet, you scumbags." So it looks like Logan and Jessica have been taken to like the supercomputer headquarters for some kind of debriefing. Or perhaps what you might call an interrogation. They don't seem too happy with Logan kind of spilling the beans, right? Trying to enlighten the populace, right? Slam dance cosmopolis. Enlighten the populace.
Slam dance cosmopolis. Enlighten the populace.
He's not really talking and he's shaking, and there's kind of this hologram trying to explain, and it's all slow motion, like, there is no sanctuary, and the computer voice, she's all like, does not compute. And at this point, you just think like Logan's head is going to explode, right? And I'm just going to admit, it does seem a little bit rushed, but this is not bad, right? And it's a little bit confusing, right? But we get all this kind of like does not compute, overload, computer malfunction, and basically the whole thing starts exploding, and they go after Logan, and Logan manages to like kick a few in the head and grabs a gun and starts killing Sandman, making his escape. He starts firing at the computer. So, like, again, it almost seems like a coup, like a military coup d'état or something, like when the dictatorship, the regime falls. Oh, this happens very quickly, right? And like all chaos, hell breaks loose. So I could see this idea again of like basically, when people lose faith in something, and it's shattered. The world is shattered. It doesn't take long, and basically like the whole building, this is an outdoor shot too of the whole like supercomputer building basically exploding, and then like huge chunks of cement are falling and crushing Sandman. Basically the whole Dome City is collapsing. Yes, it is totally terrific. It's great to see, and the people are freaking out. They're screaming, they're running. We're like, "Oh my God, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on?" And meanwhile, old man, he's got a little fire going, and he's just like, "What the hell?" I mean, basically, maybe they've been gone like maybe 2 hours or something. It's like, that was fast, right? And like I said, just mayhem, chaos inside the city. Everything is exploding. People are freaking out. They don't know what to do. This is like beyond, their comprehension, right? It's just this kind of fight or flee kind of mentality. And they're basically like, get the hell out of here. We don't know what to do. Oh, the dome is on fire. This guy's on fire. Old man's going, "What the hell's up there?" And boom, all these people start appearing. So I guess the dome has kind of opened up somehow, and all the people start showing up. And ooh, look at it, it's just surrounded by chicks. And the old man's like, "Oh yeah, that's what I like." And they basically surround the old man, and they got this one girl with a nice hairdo, retro hairstyle, and they're all a little bit nervous and frightened. They don't know what the hell. They don't even know if this guy is real, right? And there's Logan and Jessica. They join eventually. They kind of farther back, and they point. Oh, look. And so this girl reaches out and she touches him like, "Are you real? Are you real? Like, what is going on?" They've never seen an old man, and so they don't know, right? And it's like I said, it's kind of like a allegorical, but it's really well, of course it's tender, right? And she smiles, and of course the old man he's all like tickled, like, oh, you gone and touched me. How could you? So again, everyone is ecstatic, even though, 2 seconds before it was pure terror and chaos. But again, I think this is what it is. It's kind of like this, the Enlightenment, right? Of course, there is the, well, like I said, it's a transmutation, perhaps you might say, takes place within the human being. And there is Logan and Jessica, and they're smiling, right? And they're like, oh, okay, they've done their part, right? Forget about tomorrow, you've helped people see the light. The end. Logan's Run, 1976. Fantastic, 10 out of 10. Like I said, a couple slow parts, but you can just fast forward those once you see it the first time. And like I said, this Dome City, it's tremendous. This is a really, really fine sci-fi, and would have been great toys. Maybe I'll look into see if there ever was some toys made. And I've got one little bonus to throw at you. And here it is. They made a TV show. If you didn't know, Logan's Run 1977, I believe 14 episodes, and I have this. I don't think I'm going to go through this. I did watch the whole thing, and I'm looking at some of these screen caps, and it's intriguing. So I might do like just a really quick, just maybe because they do reveal actually who's behind this kind of idea, if you like, of this breakaway civilization, right? Who's really behind it? That was intriguing, and there's a few little extras. And spoiler. Francis from the movie, it actually makes it into the TV show. So even though they're just kind of going around, almost like Star Trek, kind of all these little adventures as they've left the Dome City, there's all these kind of little pockets of civilization. Francis is still chasing after him. He wants, someone in the hot tub with him. He's just like, it's so boring. You just sit there. It's boring. You need a friend. And so, okay, maybe or maybe not. I'll talk about it. But like I said, I saw it years ago. I don't know if it's good enough to watch again, but it looks good. It looks good.